The book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 18. If it be possible, as much as life in you, live peaceably with all men. Verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, all glory, all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah HaKodash. I want to give double honors to my apostles, my bishops, my elders of Great Millstone. I want to give double honors to the high priest elders that taught those men. Salutations to you brothers that present your bodies as a living sacrifice, pushing the gospel of the Lord, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, through the four corners of the earth. To you believers, the Akim and Akwathian, to you I say Shalom. Once again, this brother Bond Malak out of Great Millstone Camp, Austin, coming at you with this quick lesson. And this lesson is going to deal with, we spoke briefly on it, just on a camp on Sunday, Slakia, about this, I didn't know he was a fire chief, that he seen a family, so-called Jakes, were having a family reunion, and he just couldn't stand it. He just couldn't stand it. He couldn't stand that the family was having a family reunion, and I guess he wasn't invited to the cookout. So he took it upon himself, to go get his wife, and he went home to get a AR-15, and he came back and he was sending rounds down range, because Esau, he gonna have that perpetual hatred towards you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Again, with the rise of Make America Great Again, the rise of white supremacy, at one time it was so-called dormant, meaning that it wasn't at the forefront. Esau, Edom, they was able to keep their white supremacy mindset, kind of in check. But since the rise of Nero, aka Donald Trump, Esau, Edom, and so-called self-professed white man, woman, and child, the Edomites, the Idumeans, the Red Nation, now they white supremacy and that perpetual hatred that they have towards you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans is at an all-time high. It's at an all-time high. That's why you got the rise of both the male and female Karens. And Esau, Edom, you Jakes, and we specifically talking about you Jakes, you can be bird watching, or you can be sitting in your car, just sitting down having lunch, or you can be at the park reading a book under a tree, or you can be at the park sitting on a bench, or you can just be at a lake fishing. And lo and behold, Esau, Edom, red ass is gonna show up, and he's gonna tell you doing something wrong, and he's gonna call the modern day slave patrol, which is the so-called modern day police department, because they weaponized the police department against you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. To come and delete you. And so this this raggedy ass fire chief, he just couldn't stand that this family was having a cookout. That's why I'm reading out of the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 18 again. It says, if it be possible, as much as life in you, live peaceably with all men. And that's something Esau, Edom, red ass, the so-called Edomites, Esau, they can't live peaceably with all men. This nigga was matter of fact, let's get that. To take peace from the earth. So let's go to the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 4, it says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and that was given unto him a great sword. Ultimately, it's talking about Esau, Edom was given that Our forefather Isaac, he blessed Esau, Edom with that the sword, the modern day weapon. And that's what Esau does. We're talking about the elite of the Esau, Edom. They go take peace from the earth. As that's the same thing with the lower level Edomites. They go take peace from the earth. You can't be nowhere just minding your business without Esau, Edom coming around and to fucking butt into your business. Because they are the Edomites, man. They are to take peace from the earth. So if you're trying to have a cookout or just relax at the park or at the lake fishing, lo and behold, you better believe that an Edomite is going to come and he's going to try to take your peace away from you, because they are the wicked that the Bible speaks of. They're the biblical Edomites, a nation that the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, pursuing the book of Malachi, the first chapter, he said he have an indignation forever against the nation of Edom, Esau, Edom. So we can go back to the book of Romans. I think I had it up, or I used that. Let's go back to the book of Romans. Book of Romans, back to Romans 12 and 18, it says, once again, if it be possible, as much as life in you, live peaceably with all men. That's something Esau Edom can't do, because he was given to take peace from the earth. So when you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, y'all should never be surprised if they're around, some shit is popping off. If Esau Edom is around, something is popping off, because they just can't stand to see, even in this lower state, that you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans can still find a way to enjoy yourselves. Why? Because they're in the middle, they're in battle in making America great again. And making America great again is what? It's putting you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans back in your place. What? In those goddamn fields. That's where they want you at. That's the estate that Esau Edom wants you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. And again, that the fire chief, he went, to the house with his AR-15, because again, in pursuing Genesis 27 chapter, we read that yesterday, he went and got his sword, because our forefather Isaac blessed him with that sword, and he went and he was sending rounds down range, and luckily no one got hit. Luckily, one got hit except the guy that was the Edomite. He the only one that took a round. And really, that's the spirit that the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua put on that Edomite, so that the scriptures can come out. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. I already got it pulled up. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 7, because it still is a mindset that 2/3 of the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans think the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua only is love, love. And he's not. Let's read it. The book of Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, do all these things. See, he create the light. He formed the light and create darkness. He make peace and create evil. The Lord do all these things, man. So, you can't put our power, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, in a box. You can't say that he's all love. He's that, a false balance. Matter of fact, let's get that. We won't need this. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. I think it's 11th chapter. I'm not sure. Yeah. The book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 1. It says, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, but a just weight is his delight. See, the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, man, he don't like a false balance. He gonna have some love. He gonna have some hatred. He gonna have a little mixture of all kind of emotions, man, because he hate a false balance. Either you're gonna be rich or you're gonna be poor, or you're gonna be healthy or you're gonna be sick. He create all these things. Look, evil in the earth, it's gonna be some good in the earth. But for technically, the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, we were sent here to Babylon the Great America for a sentence to show it so that we can know what wickedness truly looked like, because we went off, so that we can desire the righteous way of the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. What? So we can turn back, so that we can repent. What? Return back to the Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. That's what he wanted us to do. And that's what the hopeful elect of the house of Israel is doing. We're turning back. We're repenting. So that what? We can be what? Seem worthy to receive the kingdom. But we got to go through all this hell, man, to get it. We got to go through the hell because the scriptures tell us that. Matter of fact, let's go to, I didn't have that. Let's go to Acts. Let's go to Acts, the 14th chapter. The book of Acts, chapter 14, and verse 22. It says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. See, we're going to go through tribulation. And that tribulation, really, ultimately, it's going to be what? The Jacob's trouble. It's going to be the Third World's War. It's going to be that time period when Esau Edom is going to make mandatory the implementation of the MOT to the B that's spoken of in the book of Revelation 13 and 16. But also this tribulation is what? Esau Edom, the rise of this white supremacy. This is the tribulation that we got to go through, man. We had to be at the hands of our enemies. They gonna give us great tribulation, and all Esau Edom has done is give you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans pure hell. What the scriptures tell us is, and that's why I came out of Romans, the 12th chapter and the 18th verse. Live peaceably with all men, and for much is life within you. Esau Edom has never tried to live peaceably with all men, because it's impossible for them to live at peace, because they the devil that the Bible speaks of. But they was what? They're operating on the left-hand side of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. So, and again, luckily no one was injured at that cookout, at that so-called family reunion. Luckily no one was injured at that family reunion, man. So I'm going to call fair use. We're going to look at this video, and we're going to hit a couple of more precepts, and we're going to close it out. The video is 4 minutes long, so I'm going to call fair use fair. And again, we're going to call fair use fair use. We're not making any monetary gains off this video. It's only used for educational purposes only. So we're going to play this. It's from this guy right here. I'm not really concerned with it. But let's play this video. And then we're going to close it out with a couple of precepts.
Hey, y'all. Hey, real quick. This face, know who this face is. This is Jeffrey Tyler Kinzer. Okay? Jeffrey Tyler Kinzer. Jeffrey decided that he thought it would be a good idea to grab his wife and go get in the car. I think his wife is named Jessica. But he decided to go grab his wife. Oh, and his wife is a nurse. Decided to go grab his wife, get in the car, and go harass a black family that was having a celebration at their home by calling them N-words and racial slurs, and harassing them, going back and forth past their house, even though nobody was bothering him.
See, and again, yesterday I brought out that word black, when did people start referring to themselves as white and black? And it was a created social construct in 1660 to 1680. That's when the so-called black-white construct came about. And as you can see, this Edomite right here, you see his shirt is white. His skin is different shades of red. See, he's red. He could be peachy red, or he's just a red man. Translucent. Blood shows through his skin. Now she is what a so-called, she calling herself, she said that he harassed the so-called black family. Now she different shades of brown. She got melanin in her skin. Now, I think she got one of those, she probably got them Shiva Jatas, and she got a headscarf on, and the headscarf is black. See, and all people are foolish. And I read, Jeremiah 4 and 22. See, all people are foolish, man. They still stuck on that. They love being called black like it's a badge of honor. They refuse to be called the biblical Israelites that the Bible speaks of. So I just want to point that out.
Yeah. When he wasn't getting the response that he wanted, and they were unbothered by him because, right? He decides, I'm going to go home and I'm going to change clothes. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and put on a bulletproof vest. And I'm going to grab my AR-15 and I'm going to go back and harass this family again. And that's exactly what he did. He got his wife. He grabbed his AR-15. He grabbed his bulletproof vest. He got in the car and he went back over to mess with that family. And guess what he did? He
got his bulletproof vest, AR-15. And hey, he was he went to send some rounds down range, man. He was ready to go to kill. He was ready to kill. Matter of fact, let me get this precept, man, before. Let's get this precept. I know I'm going to lose that. Let's get this precept real quick. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel chapter 35, and I read this yesterday. We can read it today as well. It says, Ezekiel 35 and verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel, the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity and the time that their iniquity had an end. Verse 6, therefore, as I live, says the Most High Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. See if thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And he went to shed blood, but he shed his, but his blood was shedded. See, these are the prophecies, man. They're speaking loud and clear. Loud and clear. These prophecies are speaking on these Edomites, man.
He started shooting his AR-15 at a family that had more than 20 children present at this event. That's what he decided to do, Mr. Jeffrey Kinzer. Yeah, Mr. Jeffrey Tyler Kinzer. That's what he decided to do. Okay? Yeah. So then he gets shot because he wasn't expecting that this family was a family full of Marines. Yeah. So they shot back at him. So he shot an AR-15 and hit no one, and they shot back and hit him. So he got shot. Okay? And then his ass went to jail. Now, his bond was $5,000. He's already back out. He was out in like 2 days, if that. He was back out and on the street. He's on the street currently. This man that decided to go and do a
Let's unpack some of this. The Edomite went. He sent some rounds down range at the family house at the gathering. But he got shot. That's why I read Ezekiel 35, verse 5 and 6. And you got to understand that Lord put spirits on people out here. Again, we read Isaiah 45 and 7, but we're going to read the book of Ecclesiastes, Sirach, chapter 39. Let's go to it. I don't want that. I want 28. The book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 28. And it says, there'll be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. See, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts, scorpions, serpents, and the sword. That sword, the modern day, AR-15, 9mm, punishing the wicked to destruction. See, these things were created, for the wicked. They shall, verse 31, they shall rejoice in his commandment, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. Because the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, he create evil. He make peace. How the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua do all these things, man. So the Lord, he commissioned, the Edomites and the evil spirits on the left-hand side, man, to go out and carry out these things. We just read it right here in the book of Ecclesiastes, Sirach, chapter 39 and 28, on down to 31. So you have to understand. And she said something else. She said that Edomite bond was set at $5,000, attempted murder bond, and it was set at $5,000. The book of Psalms, chapter 73 and verse 5, it says, for there is no bands in their death, their strength is firm. Verse 5 is the point. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Verse 6, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. See, Esau, Edom, he's not in trouble as other men. If Jake went and sent rounds down at a so-called Edomite family, he'll still be sitting in jail. And his bond will probably be at about $2 or $3 million bond. But the Edomite, because you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, and y'all lives are worthless here in America, Babylon, the Great. So he get a $5,000 bond. $5,000 bond is roughly a $500 bond. He can go home. Cause what? He was a fire chief. And they gonna say what? The first thing they gonna say, oh, he was just having a bad day. Cause that's the mindset when the mindset when Esau, the male and female, when they having a bad day and they can just go out here and pull out their weapons and send rounds down range, they just having a bad day. They didn't mean to do it. But you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, y'all been what? By the media has portrayed y'all as violent. The criminals of the earth. What Esau Edom, the so-called self-professed white man, he's the fucking true animal of the earth. That's why what this verse 6 it says, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Shit. They ready to do violence and 24/7. That's the mindset of Esau Edom. Because they are violent. By nature, they are violent people. That's why they can't live peaceably with all men. Because they just an evil, wicked ass people. Because what? The earth, Job, we'll close it out here. We don't have to listen to any more of that video. Let's go to Job 9:24 and we'll close it out there. Let's go to the book of Job. The book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? 2026, you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans still can't quite understand the Esau Edom, the so-called self-professed white man, the Idumeans. They are the wicked of the earth. So I pray this lesson has been edifying. I want to give all honor, all glory, all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rekah HaKodash. Double honors to my apostles, my bishops, my elders, a great millstone. Double honors to the high priest elders that taught those men. Salutations to you brothers that are presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice, pushing the gospel of the Lord, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, through the four corners of the earth. Shalom.